Hi, I'm Karen Bates. We're here at the Apple Farm in Mendocino County up in Northern California. It's the end of our harvest season and we're gathered here in our big kitchen to make Thanksgiving dinner. My brother Johnny is here from the Boonville Hotel, which is down the road. He also has a big kitchen. We're kind of long on kitchens in our family. But we do like to gather and cook together, especially on holidays and as often as we can. Right now we're going to work on the stuffing for our turkey, and I think I'm going to tear the bread and Johnny's going to work on the aromatics. So the first thing I'm going to do is to take a couple of these chilies, these are Guajllo chilies, and rinse them and put them in kind of a low oven for about 5 minutes to toast, because Johnny and I both agree that we like a little spice in our dressing. This will give us a little color and flavor and a little edge of spiciness without making it too hot. Our chilies were in the oven for about 5 minutes and they're really crisp, which is nice. This is what we're looking for. If they're black, they can be bitter, which we don't want. So sometimes they have a lot of seeds in them and you want to get rid of the seeds for this. And just break the chili up into pieces and soak it in water. For 15 or 20 minutes will make it real soft.
We're going to start by cutting the onions, and our family has a kind of a tradition of cutting things versus chopping things. And what we're going to do is cut it on the bias, and we're going to cut it versus chop it. So I'm going to cutting towards the center, and then I turn it around. This way you end up with a nice dice with, and you want a decent size here. You don't want tiny, tiny little pieces. So we're going to cut the celery here for the stuffing, and we want about the same size pieces as we had with the onion. Keep your fingers out of the mix there by curling them under, always helps. So we have the last bits here of the celery that's got a lot of stem and leaf on it, and we're going to save that and put that in a stock pot. And which we've got over here. And we've got the turkey necks and giblets and so forth in there for the gravy. We're going to do a little bit of garlic to go with that too, probably 1 clove of garlic. But same thing, I'm going to sliver this. And I'm going to take that and stack that and sliver it again, taking half of it there, and then I'm going to turn and just chop that off the end. So you end up with a little mince of garlic. So we're going to take a whole orange, we're going to turn around, and we're just going to shave off some nice pieces. We want the peel, the rind and peel as much as anything else.
So our chili has been soaking, and you see we've got this beautiful mahogany colored water here. I love the color that you get out of the chilies. Now we do have this little bit of soaking water. I hate to throw this away. Sometimes people say it's bitter and don't like to use it in things, but I don't mind a little bitter flavor, and the way you find out if something is bitter or not is to taste it and see. And to me, it's not bitter at all. So I'm just going to add it into our stock pot because that's going to give us some beautiful color on our gravy.
We're going to put some butter in the pan here, which I've got pretty hot. We're going to use quite a lot of butter. My mom always said that, you know, the dressing, the stuffing, that's the only fat in there is the butter. So we're going to use a half a cube here. And we're going to add the onions first. The onions have a little bit of garlic in them. We're just sweating the vegetables and starting to get them to get warmed up and start to release their flavor and incorporate all these flavors. We're also going to season this. It's very important. I'm going to start shaking the pan, or however is the best way for you. I want to mix those up. We're going to add the chili that Karen has first toasted, soaked, and then chopped, and that'll start to get a wonderful color out of that. At this point, obviously, the best thing, it's a good time to start seasoning it. We're going to season it here. I'm going to start with, we don't measure salt, obviously. We use a coarse salt that you can really feel. We're about at temp. We're going to add our orange. We've got this all ready to go. We're going to move back over to the center island with Karen, and we're going to incorporate this with the bread and a few other ingredients.
So all we need to do here is incorporate the bread into the aromatics. We're going to put a little fresh oregano, and we think a little green from Italian parsley would be really nice in this. It's really nice to incorporate herbs wherever you can. Let's just toss some of the bread in here. This is probably pretty hot, so I'm just going to mix in a little bit at a time. I'd kind of like to use my hands to do it, but I think it might be a little too hot for that.
We're going to put the oregano in here and just scatter it in.
And the rest of our bread. And then we've used a shallow pan here because that's going to give us a lot of surface area. We want this to get kind of brown and crusty on the top. Oh, we were going to dab a little butter on top. Johnny, why don't you do that? You have clean hands.
All right.
That looks great. That'll make it nice and crusty. And then Johnny, go ahead and put it in the oven. I have the oven at 400 degrees because the point of this is to get it hot and kind of crusty on top. Happy Thanksgiving from the Apple Farm to your homes.